Anyways, here's another interesting story today. Associated Press, 8 minutes ago, which was about an hour ago. Ecuador, hundreds of police angry over at a law that would cut their benefits, plunged the small South American nation into chaos Thursday, roughing up and tear gassing the president. Yeah, let me start that again. Roughing up and tear gassing the president. Do you understand? Have you ever heard anything like that in your life? No. No, you haven't. Tear gassing the president, shutting down airports and blocking highways in a national strike, nationwide. At least one person was killed and 6 injured in clashes between police and supporters of the president, the security minister said. You have police officers who said, hey, wait, you promised us basically pensions and these salaries, and now you're reneging on it. They tear gassed him and roughed him up. Could you imagine the police tear gassing and roughing up Obama? Oh, they're just racist, those police. They're just racist. No. And they're probably going to make sure that doesn't happen here. They'll get a federal bailout, and the police departments across the nation will probably end up being federalized. Keep that word in mind. Write that on your calendar every year to remind yourself. See if the police are federalized yet. Watch that. So there's a little more to the story, but that's the bottom line. Seriously. Whitney, the person Obama appointed recently, who's apparently the only legit person I've ever seen or heard of, and I'm like scratching my head, wait a minute, who's this chick? Another appointee from Obama? Yeah, okay, she's probably from the CFR, she's probably from the IMF, Trilateral Commission, she's somewhere. Well, not really. She seems like she has a decent record on her, so let's see what she's got. Well, here's a truthful statement. Yeah, you want good news? Instead of doom, here's a good news. There's a politician who just gave some real truthful news. September 30th. Meredith Whitney, founder and chief executive officer of Meredith Whitney Advisory Group, discussed her report rating the finances of the 15 largest U.S. states. Whitney, speaking with Betty Liu on Bloomberg Television's In the Loop, says the U.S. government may face a bailout for states over the next 12 months. On second thought, is she the one that they appointed? That Obama appointed? I might be wrong on that, but let's just continue. U.S. government will face pressure to bail out struggling states in the next 12 months, she said. The banking analyst who correctly predicted Citigroup Inc.'s dividend cut in 2008. While saying a bailout might not be politically viable, Whitney joined investor Warren Buffett in raising alarm bells about the potential for widespread defaults in the $2.8 trillion municipal bond market. And you can check out the municipal bond market and act like everything that the rating agencies overrated that was complete junk assets. JP Morgan issued them and all these other big banks. They were looking the other way too. And now these states who thought they had a lot of money in those municipalities' bonds have crap. They ain't got no money, and their bonds have been eaten away. They're not happy either. So again, while I just said there's not going to be any more bailouts and TARP, that's true. But the states are going to need some federal help regardless. And either the states can go into complete anarchy and chaos, or the federal government can print money beyond anything you've ever seen or heard of in your life, or would have ever thought could be possible in your life, and help the states survive by keeping police officers, the ones who are going to protect these politicians, the police officers and the state employees, sucking off the state teat, saying, oh yeah, well, we're not going to protest, we still got our jobs, and as long as they're continuing to pay us, we really don't care. Even though their dollars can be devalued too, but like they do in most police states, they continue, like Mugabe over in Africa or wherever the hell that is. Robert Mugabe takes and just increases the military and the police's payroll so that they don't revert to anarchy, and while the rest of the country completely suffers and is devastated beyond first world country. Could that happen here? Yes, it could. So her comments coincide with her release of a report rating the financial health of the 15 largest U.S. states measured by gross domestic product, according to Fortune magazine. The report, which Whitney said took 2 years to complete and hasn't been released publicly, ranks California's finances the worst. But wait a minute. That's Hollywood. That's where the rich people live. And that's going to be the worst place on the face of the earth. Oakland Police Department was completely abolished from what I understood recently, or in the process right now. I don't know if they've completed it. There's some major gang activity there. There's major lowlifes in that area. And there's lowlifes in every area. You know, well, not every area, but every state, every city has somewhere where the lowlifes, and I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way, just poor people. And unfortunately, most of those poor people revert to being a lowlife and steal and do everything they can because that's just the way it ends up being. Who do you think they're going to go to when they need money, when they need food? Hey, didn't the police force just get abolished in our area? Now they're giving it off to the sheriff, and now they're spreading even thinner and thinner and thinner? Yeah. We could go steal cars. We could do everything. Do you know what the Oakland Police Department said publicly when they were disbanding, before they're disbanding the police department? We will no longer be responding to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K unless it's a life-threatening emergency. We won't be responding to anything else. If your car gets stolen, we won't even respond. If your house is getting broken into, yeah. If someone's in the house. If no one's home, they're not coming. If it's a life-threatening situation, they come. If not, they're not showing up. How is those tax dollars treating you? How are those wars in Iraq that you paid for, how is that treating you? And if you stop paying your income taxes to say, hey, I'm not putting up with this anymore, the IRS is going to come kick down your door and take it. They'll garnish your wages. They'll take it however they want. They'll tell your job to deduct it out of the check before you even get handed to you. And the job's going to say, well, okay, I got to. They issue this order. I got to follow. I got to comply. So you can't even protest by saying, I'm not going to pay for that. I'm paying for people dying over in these wars. I'm paying for every week civilian Pakistanis got hit. Civilian Pakistanis got hit. Oh, well, that's okay. It's just a casualty of war. That's acceptable. But 3,000 people died on 9/11. We got to go out for 10 years killing people. A few terrorist guys, insurgents. What is an insurgent? It's just something somebody labeled one time, believed to strike 13 insurgents. It could have been someone's entire family. They believed they were insurgents, and that's all that matters. Complete civilians every time. So anyways, what does this mean? I know what this means. And I'm going to refer you to my pal, Emmett Brown. Back to the Future. Doctor, tell him what this means.
Do you know what this means? It means that this damn thing doesn't work.
He's correct. He is absolutely right. It means that this damn thing, this society, this paradigm, doesn't work. And the powers that be are trying to make it work and continue. We've gone from just horses, riding horses, right? A couple hundred years ago. Riding horses to horses and buggies, whatever. Then all of a sudden an airplane's invented and a vehicle's invented. A steam engine, all that happened first, right? Then we got these boats powered by steam engines, trains powered by steam engines, then coal. Next thing you know, combustion engines such as gasoline, whatever, airplanes, props. Then they turn into jets. Then we have missiles. Then we have rockets that can go into outer space. This is exploding like unbelievable technology, just coming out so quick. In the last 100 years, it's amazing. But the banking system, paper money, fiat currency, economics, it's ancient. And they're still following those principles. So everything else is allowed to blossom, is allowed to expand, is allowed to go through the path of nature that nature says is going to happen, except this one piece. And those bankers are pulling on that rope. They are pulling on that rope. We can't, this is our system. If this goes down, we go down. We have to actually work for a living at this point. We can't allow that. So they're going to let the whole thing crash. Not that they want to, but they're going to go down fighting. They're not just going to relinquish power and say, well, we know history too, and we're just going to, we know how this ends. We're all going to be in big trouble. So rather than do that, we're going to abolish everybody's debt, start over. New system comes in place. We're still going to use money, but your debt will be written off every 15 to 20 years, some random number in there, to start over anew. Who knows, right? They could do that. They did it in biblical times and older times, but they're not going to. So because they're not going to, you better get yourself some gold and silver in a hurry. Even at $22, silver is a buy. Why? Because it's 62 ratio to 1 gold. And if it just fixed itself today, it would go up to probably $80 right now. So even though it's high at 22, how would you like $80 in an instant when this takes place? And then after it takes place, and people are freaking out, gold, silver, gold, silver. Oh my God, all the gold that we thought was out there is full of freaking tungsten, which has been making the news periodically. Not mainstream too much. They don't want people to catch on to that. But, oh my God, there's even less gold than we originally thought because it's fake and full of tungsten with just a plating coating around it of gold. Oh my God, what next? Well, let's go to get some silver. There's less silver than gold. And it's an industrial metal that is needed very badly for industrial purposes, more so than money or collector's items. And again, there's about 1 billion ounces needed per year to satisfy everything that silver needs to satisfy. Only 800 million is coming out of the ground. So you throw in a little monkey wrench in there where people start flipping out. You could have a guy, an average guy, okay, I can only afford 100 ounces. That's $2,200. Or someone that says I can only afford 10 ounces, $220 right now. But that's one guy. There's 6-7 billion people on the planet. It would take 0.5, I don't even know, way less than that, to clean out the whole physical demand of supplies. And if you got some, you're not going to hold on to it forever because in this country you do have to use paper money. Unless that article comes true and then you can start selling your silver to pay taxes and use it for state purposes. Either way, you got to use paper cash, you got to cash it in.